If you're looking for a trusted and reliable source of news and information, check out my friends over at patriotpost.us. A link for them will be in the description box. So when you head over there and subscribe, tell them that ABL sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you a recap of the 2020 Oscar Awards. Now, there is quite surprisingly a lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. I'm not really sure where to begin. I could talk about Joaquin Phoenix and his quote unquote woke speech, but we'll get to that a little bit later. I could talk about the overall wokeness of the thing, but I think we should just start from the very beginning. Let's start from the top. Now, personally, I was able to watch the pre-show, the red carpet show, and about an hour and a half of the actual award show itself. But right around 9:30, 9:45 p.m. Eastern, I tapped out. I was done. I was like, no mas. I threw in the towel. I was being bored to tears. However, from what I did see, I was able to get a good picture of what was happening. And I've also seen clips of things that happened after I started watching it. Now, the pre-show was very ethnocentric. A lot of black folks were there. You had two black hosts of the actual red carpet. You had Tamron Hall, who looked great in her gown, looked fantastic. Then you had this dude, Billy Porter, who was pretty much everywhere. Not really sure why, but maybe I do know why, but I digress. This dude's out there with a stupid outfit. He had the Big Bird top from Sesame Street just stylized for an award show, if that makes any sense. It was like it took his top, dipped the feathers in gold, cut it down a little bit, and then put it on Billy Porter. That's pretty much what I saw. And then he had on some drapes or carpet or something like that as a dress. And then he had on some Xena Warrior Princess boots. It was a stone cold stomp down mess, but I'll move on. The pre-show had quite a few black people that were being interviewed, and you were seeing them on the red carpet. So if you were going into it thinking that the award show should be more inclusive, they should have more black folks, you may think that they have achieved that goal, okay? You might even think you're watching the BET Awards, the Source Awards, Soul Train Awards, something like that. But once you get into the actual show, then you realize, okay, this is the same old Oscars. Mostly everybody is white, and that's fine. I don't care anything about that. That's their show. Let them honor whoever they want to honor. Like I said, the BET Awards, Soul Train Awards, everybody's black, and that's fine too. That's their platform. Let them do whatever they want to do, but I'll move on. Anyway, the opening monologue was pretty decent from Chris Rock and Steve Martin. One thing that Chris Rock said kind of stood out on my mind was when he was talking about the homeless problem in LA. And then Steve Martin was like, okay, let's get to the next topic. That was hilarious because I was thinking that right when they were showing the outside during the pre-show, because they're on Hollywood Boulevard, they're in Los Angeles. I'm like, okay, where are all the dope fiends? Where's all the people pulling their carts and trash and the tents? Where's all that at? Okay, maybe they just kind of scuttled that away for the event. You're talking about something really high security, a big time police presence. So they're not going to have just random dope fiends all in the wide angle drone shot. They're not going to have that. But that was a very good point made by Chris Rock. The opening monologue also pointed at the fact that there's not much diversity as far as black folks in the Oscars. It's like they were making jokes about the Oscars not really being woke and LA having a problem with drugs and homelessness, things that people accuse the Oscars of not addressing. Okay, so now they addressed it. What are you going to do? I thought that was a pretty decent opening monologue. However, there were some little monologues, soliloquies, whatever you want to call them, during the actual event that were kind of cringy, to say the least, and just overall some cringy moments. Eminem came out for some reason and did Lose Yourself. I'm like, okay, sir, why are you here doing Lose Yourself? Okay, that movie 8 Mile came out a very long time ago, what, 20 years or something, like almost that time. So why are you out there doing Lose Yourself? Some of the faces in the audience were pretty much how I was feeling about that. It was kind of weird. Brad Pitt came out and was talking about John Bolton not getting much time before the Senate. Oh, you only get 45 seconds. That's more than they gave John Bolton. I'm like, okay, that was just a random thing. Most normal people are not sitting there like me watching news 24/7 to even know how the whole process of impeachment goes, what's going on with the Senate, or who John Bolton even really is. Okay. And if John Bolton was still in the administration, he would not be trying to defend him, but I digress. The point is that there was a little bit of a political overtone in this thing. They're talking about women's rights and how there's not many women involved. That was also in the opening monologue between Chris Rock and Steve Martin about how there's not many women that are nominated for certain awards. But hey, back to what I said earlier, it doesn't really matter. They're going to honor whoever they want. And I've long accused the Oscars of being the Wokesters. They're just putting certain things out there, nominating certain people because they tick certain boxes. Oh, this is an LGBTQ friendly film. Let's put them as some kind of nomination. This is a black movie, nominate it. It could have been some random black movie that wasn't even that good. We're going to nominate them because we need more inclusion. You understand? I think if you're going to have an award show, it should be based on just the talent and having awards for that rather than this whole cliquish kind of thing or trying to tick certain boxes or just being a thinly veiled fundraiser. But I digress. A Korean movie won for Best Picture. Some people got triggered by this. Oh, how can a Korean movie win? This is not really America. But if you've noticed, the Oscars, Wokesters, whatever you want to call it, they've been honoring foreign film for a very long time. The Academy, which is the body behind the Oscars, they are mostly in the U.S., but they have membership available all over the world. So you can be in South Korea, Africa, Brazil, somewhere else being part of the Academy. And like I've said, they've honored foreign film before. People were kind of upset at him speaking Korean during his acceptance speech, but it's like, what do you want him to speak? First of all, the movie Parasite, which won Best Picture, is a Korean movie. It's in Korean. It's not English. The guy that made the movie and his staff are Korean, so what should they be speaking? Like, really, like if I make a movie in English in America and then I get an award in South Korea, what am I going to speak? Korean? I might give you 3 words in Korean. I don't even know Korean. I might say ni hao or something stupid like that. You understand what I'm saying? And then proceed to speak in English. That's just kind of what it is. I don't speak Korean. So for him to be able to give you 4 or 5 words in English and then speak Korean is pretty normal. It's just like if you go to the video game awards, you're going to have Hideo Kojima win for Death Stranding. He might give you 4 or 5 words in English, although he can speak English okay, but he's going to speak mostly in Japanese because he's able to communicate with you easier. It'd be an interpreter right there on stage telling you what he's saying in real time. That's just kind of how that goes, but I'll move on. The main thing that kind of stuck out to me during this quote-unquote award show was the woke speech from Joaquin Phoenix. Check this out.
I've been thinking a lot about some of the distressing issues that we are facing collectively. And I think at times we feel, or we're made to feel, that we champion different causes. But for me, I see commonality. I think whether we're talking about gender inequality or racism or queer rights or indigenous rights or animal rights, we're talking about the fight against injustice. We're talking about the fight against the belief that one nation, one people, one race, one gender, or one species has the right to dominate, control, and use and exploit another with impunity. I think that we've become very disconnected from the natural world, and many of us, what we're guilty of is an egocentric worldview, the belief that we're the center of the universe. We go into the natural world and we plunder it for its resources. We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby, even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable. And then we take her milk that's intended for a calf and we put it in our coffee and our cereal. And I think we fear the idea of personal change because we think that we have to sacrifice something to give something up. But human beings at our best are so inventive and creative and ingenious. And I think that when we use love and compassion as our guiding principles, we can create, develop, and implement systems of change that are beneficial to all sentient beings and to the environment.
Okay, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, Joaquin Phoenix, what are you talking about here, sir? This was all over the place. You want to talk about milking cows and how we shouldn't be entitled to milk them and put the milk in our cereal and our coffee. First of all, I don't eat cereal, nor do I drink coffee, so that doesn't apply to me. But second of all, I'm not really trying to hear this radical vegan, vegetarian nonsense from Joaquin Phoenix. I just don't want to hear it. You know, I hear it all the time. Oh, they're innocent animals. So what? Animals eat other animals. So why can't I eat other animals? What's the big difference? Because I can go about it in the more sophisticated way. I don't got to go out there and bite you with my teeth. I can just, go to the grocery store and buy you. What's the difference? It's the same thing. I'm still eating animals. Same as them. I just go about it in a different way. All right. We are not herbivores. We're able to eat meat. It is what it is. But I'll move on. Liberals will say things that are pretty racist without even realizing it. In their mind, they're thinking they're being super woke, super inclusive. But what I heard was racism, or at least a thing of othering non-whites, if that makes any sense. He's talking about non-white rights, indigenous peoples, is that, and the third. In that same sentence, he's talking about animal rights. How are you going to put indigenous rights right next to animal rights? Is there that much of a difference between an indigenous person and an animal? I mean, what are we really talking about? It's like they link everything together. Animals, LGBT, black, everything. Everything just kind of gets put into a box. And then they see themselves as being superior, top of the food chain. The difference between a white supremacist, skinhead, neo-Nazi, or whatever, and a far leftist, crazy, extreme white liberal is the fact that the white liberal feels bad about being the top dog that nobody can touch, who is superior over all other beings. But the white supremacists do not feel bad about it. They want to maintain that. But at the end of the day, they both got the same type of ideology. I'm white. I'm the best. Nobody can do anything to me. That's pretty much how they are. And in that speech, he was pretty much saying that. So Joaquin Phoenix, the woke thing is not really working for you, boss. I've not seen Joker yet, honestly. I'm going to have to watch it on Netflix. People are saying that it was a great movie. But this should tell you right here that movies are just movies. These people are actors. So when you see a Joaquin Phoenix give this quote unquote impassioned speech, you got to think this could just be another performance. All right. Trying to be the most woke guy in the room, trying to appeal to certain crowds. Do you really feel that way? Have you convinced yourself you feel that way? Either way it goes, I don't feel the speech. And I think many people out there didn't feel it as well. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Did you enjoy the Wokesters, aka the Oscars? If you did, let me know why you did in the comments below. Or did you not enjoy it? Were you able to see some of the things that I mentioned in my particular talk here? How do you feel about Hollywood being the epicenter of human brain programming? A lot of the things that come from the media, they come from Hollywood. You have basically Hollywood actors on television portraying journalists, portraying pundits, portraying hosts and moderators and whatnot. I think we need to get back to a more reality-centered view of the world and not so much fantasy in Hollywood and buying into whatever they want to sell us. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.